Bootle, a town on the edge of Liverpool, a place where most days pass without incident. But on a Friday afternoon in June, a woman was killed inside a busy shop, in full view of members of the public. Her name was Nilani Nimalarajah. She was 44 years old. She was a mother, and she had been trying to leave an abusive relationship. Shortly after 5:05 p.m. on 20th of June 2025, Merseyside police were called to Low Cost Food and Wine, a convenience store on Stanley Road. Reports of a stabbing had just come in. Officers found 44-year-old Nilani Nimalarajah inside with multiple stab wounds. She was rushed to a nearby hospital, but tragically, she died a short time later. Witnesses recall the scene with horror. One local shopper said, "I heard shouting, then screams. People were trying to help her." Nilani was more than a victim. She was a loving mother and the heart of her family. My mom was love in its purest form. She was my strength, my safety, and my home. Her life mattered, and she will never be forgotten. In a heartbreaking victim impact statement, her daughter spoke of the void left in their lives, the laughter they miss, and the guidance she provided. Merseyside police records show that Nilani and her estranged husband, 47-year-old Nimalarajah Paranam, had a restraining order in place, previously breached by him. Yet that did not prevent tragedy.
Restraining orders are legally protective, but only as strong as the mechanisms that enforce them. This case tragically underscores that even with orders in place, escalation can happen.
Paranam was detained at the scene, but not before ingesting an unknown substance that left him in critical condition. He remained hospitalized for several weeks. Detectives later charged him on the 16th of July 2025 with murder, possession of a blade, and breaching his restraining order.
When a suspect harms themselves after an arrest, it complicates custody procedures. They must be medically stabilized before legal processing continues.
Detective Chief Inspector Alan Nuttall led the investigation, calling it one of the worst acts of domestic violence he had seen. He said he was clearly intent on killing Nilani. He didn't care about the consequences. Witness statements, CCTV footage, and forensic evidence were meticulously reviewed to reconstruct the moments leading up to the attack. At its core, this was a story of a woman's life taken and a family shattered, but also a community forced to confront how domestic violence ends in tragedy when intervention isn't enough. On 16th January 2026, Paranam appeared at Liverpool Crown Court, where he pleaded guilty to murder and possession of a knife, as well as breaching his restraining order. The judge sentenced him to life imprisonment with a minimum of 29 years, a term reflecting the premeditated nature of the attack. Justice was served in court, but for Nilani's family and for Bootle, the cost of communication lost and violence unleashed is immeasurable. This case stands as both a tragedy and a call for awareness about domestic abuse. Local shopkeepers recall the horror and subsequent grief, describing a neighborhood rocked to its core.